Okay, it's recording.
Alright, it's recording.
Okay. Are we ready?
Yes. Go for it.
Alright, every pony. This is Pony Napping Twilight Sparkle. Drawing by Pyrovit. He gave me permission to make this story and use his drawing.
Damn it.
Thanks to him, this story was made. Story by Rayo Dragon, aka Rayo, and the Wolf, Nanaki? aka Nanaki 001. Writers by Jacob D. Ellinger, aka J-Club.
Got his name.
And Devin E. Alvarado, aka Rockman08. Collaborate by the FFF, Jake Rob, Rockman08, and Rayo.
Trixie was sitting on her bed, tossing cards in the air and levitating them into a house of cards. Stupid Twilight thinks she's so great, she said as she tossed another card into the air. She thinks she's all that. Well, I'll show her. Trixie threw another card, though this time it ignited as it hit the house of cards, exploding into a ball of colorful fireworks. Arrgh! Why do I like her?
Trixie sat there on her bed, her hooves wandering to her magic box, clopping vigorously. She was angry. She wished she could make Twilight her little bitch. Truth be told, she actually liked Twilight. Of course, she would never admit this to anyone. Yet why shouldn't she? After all, Twilight was everything she wasn't. She had friends that liked her. She had Equestria's most powerful ruler as her personal mentor. And above all else, she was so damn sexy. With her stupid, sexy purple coat and her stupid, sexy plot.
Twilight started to swear as she clapped. Fuck you. Shit. Trixie rolled onto her stomach and grabbed her pillow with her teeth, imagining it was Twilight. You little whore. You like it rough, don't you?
Meanwhile, Rayo was in his room reading a book called How to Be a Good Pony for Morons. He was already in the 3rd chapter and he was interpreted from his thoughts with the sounds of Trixie's foul language. Fuck you! Oh, fuck, yes! Trixie began moaning loudly though mixed with numerous swear words.
Rayo put the book down and listened closely, trying to figure out what the heck was going on. Rayo realized what Trixie was doing. He could hear her every word, her every moan. Not this again. Rayo picked up a box from under his bed labeled, "Open in case Trixie is thinking of Twilight," and removed a bottle of vodka and a pack of cigarettes from within it. Even though Rayo had heard this many times before, he had never said anything about it to her or even asked her about it, for fear of what she might do to him if she knew he was listening in.
Back in Trixie's room, she was now clapping even harder. She turned over onto her back so that she could stroke herself faster. Her eyes were closed tightly as her mind envisioned Twilight between her legs. She was imagining Twilight licking her insides, eating her magical pie with gusto.
That's it, bitch, she exclaimed. Eat and drink my great and powerful juices. She was arching her back with the pleasure she was imagining. Her face started to blush and fill with tears from the brutal way she was beating her mare slop. Yes, Twilight, oh yes, please don't stop. Drink all of me, drink it all. Shy cried to herself in ecstasy.
Oh, Twilight, I want you.
Back in Rayo's room, he was just finishing the last of the bottle. He took a long drag from his cigarette, exhaling with a smile on his face. Who needs flankalicious when you have that?
Trixie was just finishing up herself. Her body covered in sweat from the extortion. Her breathing was hard and short.
Stupid Twilight, I hate you so much. Soon though, very soon, you will be mine. Trixie fell asleep with that thought in her mind, a smile on her face.
Spike was packing his suitcase. He was looking forward to some relaxation. It had been some time since he had the opportunity to go back to Canterlot, and he was super excited about the annual assistant convention for which he was going to attend himself.
I can't wait to see all the assistant dragons like me. Of course, I'll be wearing my cosplay costume. Really? I'll be wearing my cosplay costume. I have been working on all year. Spike gathered every empty box and every unused piece of cardboard he could get his hands on to make it. A full suit of armor with peck muscles added to it for lookness. Twilight was happy too. She was glad that her little assistant was getting a break. Poor guy, she thought. He needs this. Though Twilight was glad too, for this meant she too would be getting a break. Celestia told her she could take some time off as well from all her studies. She planned on using time to read her favorite love novel and relax with a lovely bath and finish her relaxation by taking some time to get some sun out on the porch. She knew she could use the vitamin D, and to top it all off, she would not be bothered all day. Fluttershy would be busy.
Can I interrupt just to say I find it really entertaining that all of these times you're pausing, there are no commas.
I know. I auto-pause. Fluttershy would be busy her mousy senses. Applejack would be busy working overtime on her farm, while Rainbow Dash and all her weather friends would be busy taking care of a hurricane off the coast. Twilight had planned, single N, for all consistency.
Planed.
Yes, plain. Thank you, Ellen. For all consistency. Even going as far as to bake 100 muffins to keep Zerpy away from the library. And as for Rarity, she would be working too hard making new designs to bother her for anything. And Pinkie Pie was happily helping Mrs. Cake at her bakery because Mrs. Cake was pregnant. Twilight wondered how strange it was that she was able to get pregnant in the first place, but she was glad for the distraction.
Twilight had wanted this for so long, just a few moments to herself. She even put a sign on her cabin door saying, "Spike, keep out. This was not for baby dragons." Carefully she opened the door with her magic. The spell only she knew. In the room of the walls were many books. None of them had pictures, but all of them were steamy love novels. She grabbed the book she had been planning to read and a bottle of wind wine. The book was a romance novel about nobles in ancient times.
Nervously, she went to her dressing room and put on a very naughty violet-colored swimsuit and a pair of Nervously, she went to her dressing room and put on a very naughty violet-colored swimsuit and a pair of very sexy glasses.
Twilight had just finished reading her love novel, and Spike had already left, so she decided it was a good time to go and get some ultraviolet rays from that big burning gas joint in the sky. Twilight put the book down and moved out to the porch, laying on her back, enjoying the warm rays from the sun on her smooth purple coat.
Trixie and her trusty minion were just arriving at Twilight's house. They saw a sign on the door that said it was open. Both of them walked in and flipped the sign to the closed side, then placed Trixie's bag of toys on the counter.
Rayo opened the bag and removed a camcorder from within, while Trixie took a vial of lotion from the bag.
Wrong vial, I'd like to point out.
Yes.
Bag.
Yes.
Wrong bag, too.
Rayo saw that she had grabbed it. Rayo saw that she had grabbed it and was sure to remind her what the zebra had said. Beware the blue pony of too much of this stuff, for placing too much could ruin her moth. Oh, God.
Be careful, Trixie, warned Rayo. Using too much could seriously hurt Twilight.
Trixie could not wait to try it. This will be fun. I'm going to love making her so numb and helpless. I'm going to make her squirm and moan like she never has before.
Trixie put on her trade mark hat and cape, ready to work her magic on Twilight. She would make Twilight hers. Ellipses.
Rayo was on the floor setting up the camera and all of Trixie's toys in preparation for the fun. Now it was time to start the show, thought Trixie. She gingerly walked up the stairs to the balcony.
Trixie saw Twilight on the porch balcony. Twilight had her eyes closed. Fancy meeting you here. Twilight opened her eyes and saw Trixie, spelled with a Y, no I-E, standing in the doorway. She remembered she had put an open sign, Sig HN, on the door, though only to make it look like she was working, but now she regretted it. "What do you want?" asked Twilight, and a bit surprised to see her. Trixie smiled and held out her arms. "I was just in the neighbourhood, and I thought how wonderful it was, a wonderful day it was. I thought you might like some lotion for the sun." Twilight saw she was holding a small vial of lotion in her hooves. She was suspicious but saw no harm in the gift. "Well, thank you, Trixie. You can leave it on the porch. I'll use it later." Trixie would have none of it though. She had used it here when Twilight used it for her plan to work. Oh, don't be such a fuss. It would be my honour to give you some now. Relax. Trixie quickly placed some in her hooves and began rubbing it on Twilight's shoulders. What are you? Twilight was about to clean, but the lotion felt so good. It was relaxing her shoulder muscles so much that feels good, she said, closing her eyes and laying down while Trixie worked her magic. See, Twilight, it's not so bad. Trixie knew it was working. She rubbed her Twilight's shoulders for a bit and slowly moved down Twilight's body, working to the powerful lotion into the soft purple coat of Twilight's upper legs. Twilight thought of resisting, but the way Trixie was rubbing her hooves and arms was so relaxing. Trixie saw how relaxed Twilight had become and thought it was a good time to move on to the now helpless mare's lower half.
Trixie began to rub Twilight's soft tummy, reveling in the feel her purple coat and her hooves. Twilight was beginning to feel helpless. For some reason she could not resist. It just felt so good. Twilight let out a small moan as the light blue mare worked her magic, rubbing the lotion deep into the recesses of her stomach and lower legs.
Feeling satisfied with the way she had thoroughly applied the lotion, Trixie decided it was time to make her move, apparently a second time.
Trixie moved her hoof over Twilight's panties, being sure to use a good amount of the lotion. God damn it, Rayo.
Ponies don't wear panties!
Carefully
Keep going.
moved her hoof under Twilight's can't read this.
You have to!
You can.
Do it, Philly.
No.
I read some pretty dubious stuff as well.
Come on, look at the paragraph I have to read, Colin.
Here, just
You can.
I'll take over for you. Carefully, she moved her hoof under Twilight's tight bikini line. The purple mare opened her eyes and looked down at the sudden feeling of her flower being touched. No, not there, she lazily protested. Oh, wait. No, not there, she lazily protested. But when she tried to get up, she found she could hardly move. The lotion had worked its magic, paralyzing her completely. And Colin's not reading because his brother's in the room.
Trixie smiled at her victim, loving the feeling of being in control. She ignored her pitiful pleas. Shush, she said with a small smack to Twilight's flower. Do you want someone to hear you? Well then. Twilight saw how Trixie.S hoof was pounding away at her. It hurt but felt good at the same time. She had never felt anything like it. Trixie was moving her hoof faster, harder every stroke. Twilight desperately wishing she could put her hoof up to her mouth, to stop herself from moaning. She could not even lift a hoof. Trixie saw Twilight turning red, heard her quite whimpers and moans. She smiled at the fact that she could control her rival so easily. Oh, look how wet you're getting, Twilight. You're such a dirty mare. You love this so much. Why, I can even hear you moaning as I touch you like this. Trixie increased the pace of her hoof. If you're not quite, everyone will know how much of a dirty little filly you've been. Twilight was breathing hard, turning a bright shade of red in embarrassment. You will pay for what you've done, Twilight. You will be my toy, my special piece of meat. You are now mine. Or you are mine now. Twilight wanted Trixie to stop there, but there was nothing she could do. Twilight could only watch him beg. No, please, to Trixie. I'm so sorry. Trixie only laughed manically. Say that I'm great and powerful. You're great and powerful. Please stop, cried Twilight. Say you're mine, said Trixie as she continued to grope the helpless mare. Twilight just wanted her to stop. No, she cried, feeling ashamed that she had actually considered doing as Trixie had asked. Trixie did not like that one bit. She known by grabbing the purple mare's panties and pulling them apart, ripping them slightly, and forcing them into the wedge of the creeps of Twilight's crotch. Note, we Googled this word because we knew not what creeps meant. Creeps, according to Urban Dictionary, because that is the only place I can find an actual definition, means something disgusting or revolting. Twilight let out a loud cry, but quickly shut her mouth. Say it, Twilight, said Trixie as she started to rub the helpless mare's flower again. Twilight began to sob. No! Trixie looked removing her hat and in her face to devour it. Rubbing her tongue with the button, forcing the tip of
Alice. Yeah? Oh, it's my turn, sorry. No, 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 cried Twilight. This is wrong. It's dirty!
Trixie looked up at Twilight momentarily. She said before continuing her feast. No, 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 please stop, pleased the small purple mare. Trixie liked the taste so much. She also liked the way Twilight was begging. She wanted to make her even loader, so she gently took the stem of Twilight's flower in between her teeth and giving it a small lick.
I'm still trying to figure out how that metaphor works, but I don't want to consider it long enough to make it make sense. No! Cried Twilight as she squirted all over Trixie's muzzle and down her butt, finally fainting in her chair.
Trixie's face was sticky with Twilight's juices. Even her chest was sticky with the purple mare's sweet nectar. She said with a grin.
Is it my turn?
I think I figured out most of what that means. It's supposed to be Twilight, yours, something. I don't fucking know.
Rayo! She called. What's one, Twixie? He said as he came up the balcony. Ray could barely understand her. You licked her while she was covered in that numbing lotion, he said, amused. Wes, she said, not amused. Well, it was will wear off after a little while, so you shouldn't panic so much, she said, trying to conceal a smile. Or else, Trixie gave him a warning up. Would you, why, what?
Why, ow, will, wow.
Rayo scratched his head. What? He asked, confused. Trixie came furious. Hark!
A few hours later, Trixie was taking a shower in Twilight's bathroom while Twilight awoke in her bed. She was bound tight, her arms strapped behind her back and her legs bound together as well.
Her legs.
Her legs bound together as well. She tried to yell, but discovered she had a red-colored ball gang in her mouth. As Twilight surveyed the room, she saw that there was a small camera on a tripod placed next to the bed. The red light was on, indicating she was being recorded.
Trixie came out of the bathroom, wearing one of Twilight's robes, drying her hair with it.
Trixie motioned to Rayo. Rayo, it's time to get your flank over here and record the show. Rayo quickly came up the stairs. He had just got done reading some books from the library.
Rayo got the camera and pointed at Trixie while she stood on her two hind legs, as she slowly removed Twilight's robe, pulling it down corner by corner until the helpless mare was fully undressed.
What? That made no sense because she doesn't.
Earlier, Twilight had panties on. I think that you're coming into that a bit late.
There was a swimsuit too. Yeah.
Trixie took a long look at her handiwork before smiling at the purple mare laying in the bed. I hope you're ready for round 2, my little toy. I know I am. Trixie moved to the bed, placing her body around her new toy, hugging her from behind, wrapping her hooves around Twilight and batting her eyes at the camera. Twilight shuddered with the touch. Her face was wet from the drool dripping out from the ball gag. She had been trying to remove it with her tongue.
Trixie saw how scared she was. You really must try to relax, my dear. I really just want to make you feel good. Trixie placed a single hoof on the purple mare's stomach, and it's mares as in plural, just to make that clear, so there's several. On the purple mare's stomach, so that should be stomach, hugging her tightly. I would never break my favorite toys. She placed her other hoof to Twilight's face, stroking it gently, talking into her ear. And don't worry about my minion. He is just here to record our fun and upload it to PonyTube. But fear not, my little toy. He will make sure to fur my beautiful face and cutie mark so no pony will know it's me. They will only see you and how much of a slut you are. You will be a little internet slut, won't you? She said, nodding her head next to Twilight. ... Unless, said Trixie, licking her lips, you agree to be mine forever. Then no pony will ever have to see this nasty video, and you will be my pet, my slave, my toy, but don't worry, I will take good care of you. I will feed you and pleasure you with my great and powerful juices. Finished her speech by placing her hoof on Twilight's flower and beginning to rub it gently.
Now relax, Twilight, and enjoy. You want to feel good, don't you? Twilight nodded slowly, tears filling her eyes. Now show me how much you like it when I do this, said the light blue mare as she stroked Twilight's flower. Show me this time for the camera.
Trixie lifted her new toy to her chest, placing Twilight on top of her lap, barring her face into her fur, and grinding her blue flower against Twilight.
Let me see how you take this. Be sure to perform well. We want to make a good show now, don't we? We don't want to disappoint your friends, she said as she licked Twilight's nipples. Show them you're a little slut. Show them your mare flower. Twilight was loving the way the pale blue mare's wet petals were rubbing against hers. She began to cry out in pleasure. She'd never felt this good before. She began to love it so much, giving herself over to the pleasure, letting herself go. Trixie was unsure if Twilight was just acting the part. If you won't be mine forever, she kissed Twilight on the chest. I'll be sure to show this video to all your friends, your special little princess too. You know what? She said rhetorically. I bet she would love to see it. In fact, I think even your baby dragon would like to see it too. But if you say that you are mine, no one will ever find out how much of a dirty little mare you are. No one will ever have to see this video. I'll keep you all to myself. No one will have to know. But if you say no, I will show this video to everyone.
Oh God, how am I gonna read this? Damning Grant.
Stop this.
Twilight was moaning loudly. Trixie was grinding her wet velvet slot vigorously against her. Twilight could not take it any longer. She began to grind hers in time with Trixie, not caring that she was being her little toy. She desperately wanted more. She even began to cry out, "Oh, oh!" She knows it's more.
I like how it just switches to present tense for no damn reason.
She loves how dirty she feels, but she also wants to escape because she knows, though, that she is Trixie's prisoner. She knows if she doesn't do all the things. If she doesn't do all the things Trixie asks, every pony will think she is a slut. Twilight finally gave up, slumping onto Trixie's arm, tears running down her face. Trixie noticed that Twilight had given up. I knew I would break you.
The end.
Oh God!
To be continued, though, because that's part one.
Oh God, there's more parts!
We have to do it again.
Yes.
No.
Oh
I can't
God.
believe you made me do that.